Okay, I'm back. This is Khaliq Glover, also known as Khaliq-O-Vision from mixingacademy.com. And somebody asked me a very good question about, what's the best effect to use on vocals? And, so that's such a subjective question. But just a couple of things that I want you to think about. The way I look at this is if I had everything taken away from me, but still had to make something happen, I would want either reverb or delay, and if I only had those two things, I could make it work in either way. Because for one thing, if you have just reverb, you can make reverb sound like delay simply by, you take away all the stretched out things, make it short. You take away all the diffusion and things like that, and you can really make it a coarse reverb where it sounds like a delay, because reverb really is a whole bunch of delays, just thousands and thousands of them, one after the other, to make up the room, but it's all delay based. So you can take it down to its bare minimum and make a reverb sound and react like a delay if you needed to have that, but then it still can be, it can have the expanse of reverberation. Now conversely, you have delays, and that's another good thing. And many times delays, by having just that, you can make a delay kind of sound like reverb but not take up as much space. So in a way it's more flexible. But you can make a delay sound have its normal delay tight thing, but you can also simulate reverb where it can fool the mind with the one delay by using the combination of the different ways of feeding back the signal into itself and other tricks that you can do. So those two basic things, I would always start there depending on what the song needed, the type of ambience it needed to be surrounded by. I could get by with either one of those and make it act like the other if I had to. Okay? And then the other thing is having your vocals spread out by some type of fattening effect. So basically you have your lead vocal, and it's usually going to be right in the middle. And then what we used to always do is we always put it through something else that was a stereo effect. So it ended up having the lead vocal and you had the stereo effect. So you really ended up having three different signals from that vocal, the stuff on the sides coming through the effect, and then the vocal that was right in the middle. And using it in a combination, your mind has a lot of energy coming from all different places, because even though that's a phantom image in the center, it sounds real solid and powerful in there. And even though the actual hard left and hard right pans of the effects, they're coming out the left and right speaker, the combination of all those together make your vocal sound bigger and fatter. Okay? And then other times too, if you have the luxury of doing it during the recording, having natural doubles is really good. That can really help enhance a vocal sound and blend it in with the main sound. If you've got a great singer that can double themselves, you have that as an option, or you have a couple tracks that are really tight and you can pull them in, that can really help and be very nice on vocals. Then the other thing that is definitely, you might not think of it as an effect, but it is an effect, and that's parallel compression, because you're putting that in and you're enhancing it in and adding it in just like you would add reverb and delays and stuff like that onto that effect. So that's another thing that can help vocals really nice, and it's pretty much commonplace right now. Anyway, that's what I would say is the best way that you can use, and the best type of things you can use for vocals is those type of basic things. Will get you some kind of result if you know how to use them. So anyway, I'm Khaliq Glover, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye. Hey, hi, I'm Khaliq Glover, also known as Khaliq-O-Vision from mixingacademy.com, and I wanted to talk to you about another question that it's come about recently in the recent few years and everything. But a lot of people want to know, do I need to learn mastering? Do I need to learn how to do mastering on my stuff? Originally it started out as recording and learning how to record your stuff, then going from recording to recording and mixing. Now it's, do I need to learn how to do mastering? So I'm going to answer this in a couple different ways. It's both yes and no. Okay, the yes part is I really think it's important that you learn something about the thing because mastering is a great art. And one of the things that helped me the most when I was coming up is I used to go to the great mastering engineers, the Bernie Grumman Studios, and some of the other ones that were around town, the top mastering houses, and sit with the guys and find out what was wrong with my stuff. What did they have to do to make it sound great? Then I'd actually sit in on some other sessions if they would let me and just see what are you doing, why are you doing that, try not to disturb them, let them do their thing, but ask an occasional question: how can I make my stuff better so that your job is easier when I bring it to you? So I learned a whole lot, and then in recent years now, it's I really haven't had any problems when my stuff gets sent to mastering. They always usually say, "Oh, we didn't have to do too much at all," because I send it to them in a good state because of what I learned from what they end up having to do, and I fixed it and have it done and prepped in the mix. So that part of it, I think you need to learn something about it so that it'll make you better. Now, the other side of it is no, you don't need to learn full-blown mastering unless that's what you really want to do and be a mastering engineer. It's a whole different mindset than mixing or recording and everything. We all use different brains, to do these things, and they're different ways of listening. A mastering engineer has a minute skill set of tiny super detailed listening in the big broad picture of a lot of things. Now us as mixing engineers, we're listening to one thing in one song and listening to a lot of minute details in one song, but a mastering engineer has heard a whole bunch of song styles and things like that. So they're listening in a much more expansive way than we listen as mixers. So it's a different way. I think each one can do it if you do it, but most people think you use the same way of listening to achieve those goals, and no, they're totally different objectives. So it's a different way of learning and approaching it. So you don't really need to learn mastering, but you need to learn something about mastering. So anyway, I hope that's helpful. There's a lot of great books and tutorials and videos and things out there. One guy that I recommend that has been very helpful is Ian Shepherd from Production Advice. Check him out. He's got some great mastering stuff. And learn as much as you can. The more tools you have, the better you're going to be, and the longer you'll be around, and the better our industry will be, because the quality of music will just keep raising and getting higher. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed these tips, and I will check you out shortly on some other stuff.